without doing the summing operation, can we able to get total turnover? Without doing summing operation, can we able to get the total turnover here?
No.
Again, I can able to say answer is no. Now, without getting the total turnover, can I able to perform analysis?
No.
Without getting total turnover, can I able to perform analysis? Again, answer is nothing but no. Now, without doing analysis, can I able to take the decision? Without doing analysis, can I able to take the decision? Again, I can able to say simple answer is nothing but no. But here, if you see, what is my primary requirement as part of this example? I want to take the decision as part of my business. With that, I want to proceed with my business on top of the Citibank. But because of having data in the different format, you cannot able to perform the summing operation. Because of unable to perform the summing operation, you cannot able to get the total turnover. Because of not getting the total turnover, you cannot able to perform analysis. You cannot able to take the decision. Indirectly, if you see here, whatever data is available in test file, JSON file, XML file, and database table, that data is not going to be useful to achieve your requirement. Try to understand the statement. Here, what I'm saying here, whatever the data is available here, or whatever the transaction data is available here, that data is not going to be useful to achieve our requirement. Why it is not useful? Because we are having data in the different format. That is the reason you cannot able to perform the summing operation. That is the reason you cannot able to get the total turnover. That is the reason you cannot able to perform analysis. You cannot able to take the decision. But indirectly here, you are having the data, but by using this data, you cannot able to achieve the requirement. This kind of data only we can able to call it as nothing but unorganized data. Whatever the data you are having, by using that data, if you cannot able to achieve the requirement, such kind of data actually we can able to call it as a unorganized data. But here my requirement is at any point of time, I want to achieve my requirement. Now you tell me, if you want to achieve the requirement, what operations we need to perform on top of this data here? Because of having data in the unorganized format, you cannot able to achieve the requirement. But to achieve my requirement, what operation I need to perform?
First, we need to make it the data into a structured format. Now it's an unstructured format, right?
A very good answer. So here we can able to say, I am going to convert this savings.txt file, for example, into savings tick. At the same time, I am going to convert this loans JSON file format data into loans tick. At the same time, I am going to convert this credit card department data from XML format to credit card tick. At the same time, coming to demat department, already they are having the data in the tabular format. Again, I'm going to maintain the data in the tabular format only. Indirectly, what I'm doing here, I am converting text file to table, JSON file to table, XML file to table, table to table. Indirectly, what I can able to say here is, we are converting unorganized format data into organized format. We are going to convert unorganized data into the organized format. Now you tell me, in between all above tables, can we able to perform summing operation or not? Any guesses now? Now we are having all the data in the tabular format. We converted text file to table, JSON to table, XML to table. Now we are having all the data in the same format or in the tabular format. Now on top of this data, can we able to perform summing operation or not?
Yes.
Obviously, yes. But how it is possible? Just by writing our SQL queries, we can able to perform summing operation between all these tables by depending on our requirement. By doing summing operation, simply you can able to get total turnover. With that, now you can able to perform analysis. With that, simply you can able to take the decision. Indirectly, once you can able to convert unorganized data into the organized format, With that, you can able to achieve the requirement. What is my requirement here? I want to take the decision. To take the decision, I need to perform the analysis. To do analysis, I need to get the total turnover. Now, because of having data in the organizer format, now you can able to perform the summing operation by applying the SQL queries. With that, you can able to perform analysis. With that, you can able to take the decision. Now, indirectly, we can able to say by using whatever the data you are able to achieve your requirement. Such kind of data, we can call it as organized format data. By using whatever the data, you can able to achieve your requirement. Such kind of data, simply we can able to call it as a organized data, or here I can able to say it's nothing but our meaningful data. Now you tell me, this organized data or meaningful data only we can able to call by using some other naming convention. What was that? Whatever the data you are getting in the organizer format, whatever the data you are getting in the meaningful format, that data only we can able to call by using other naming convention. What is that naming convention? Few minutes back we discussed about that. You see what we discussed here? Whenever we are getting the data in the organizer format or in the meaningful format, such kind of data, what we can able to call? It's nothing but our information. Indirectly, sometime back, I given the example for the information by using our generic example. Now, by using real-time example, we are trying to understand what is the data and what is the information. Now, you people try to give the answer. In this whole example, where we are having the data, where we are having the information. Any guesses? In this whole example, where we are having the data, where we are having the information. Any guesses? Very
Tables
simple.
are nothing but data.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever data it is, information after tables. Can you come down? After loading the data into tables, we are writing queries and we are taking the final decision. So based on that final data, means summing up of all the 4 tables. Based on that, we are going to take the decision.
Now here I can able to say like this. So for example, see here, as part of this example, whatever the data we are having in the test file, JSON file, XML file, by using this data, you cannot able to achieve your requirement. That data, what we can able to call indirectly, is nothing but our unorganized content. This unorganized content, indirectly we can able to call it as a data. If you remember, what is the definition of data? Whenever you are getting the data in the raw material format or in the unorganized format, such kind of content we can able to call it as a data. Indirectly I can able to say whatever the text file, JSON file, XML file, database table, all this kind of unorganized format content, that simply we can able to call it as a data. All these files actually we can able to call it as a data. But coming to here, you are converting text file to table, JSON file to table. Indirectly, you are converting all unorganized data into the organized format. Whenever you are converting organized format into the organized format, such kind of organized data, you can able to call it as a information. Indirectly, we can able to say information is available in the tables. But whereas coming to data which is available on top of your files. This is the way, by using our real-time example, you can able to understand what is the data and you can able to understand what is the meaning of the information. Now one more question, just see here. In entire above example, what all are different operations we are performing? Whatever example we are discussing from last to 20 minutes, in this whole example, what operations we are performing? If you observe here, I can able to say extraction of data, or I can able to say collection of data from different sources. Will you agree or not? Tell me in this example, what are the different types of the sources we are having? What all are different sources we are having in this example? Savings department, one of the source. Loans department, one of the source. Credit card department, one of the source. Demat department, one of the source. What we are doing? We are collecting the data from different types of the sources. After that,
You are doing extraction.
we are converting the data into organizer format. So what we are doing here, first step, we are collecting the data from different types of the sources. Then as part of this example, we are converting the data into the organizer format. Now you tell me why we are converting the data to organizer format? For the purpose of what reason?
To meeting the requirement.
To get the total turnover. But why you want to get the total turnover? For the purpose of doing our analysis. So we can able to say we are converting data into the organizer format for the purpose of doing analysis. But why we are doing analysis? To take the decisions, okay? Indirectly, whatever I am explaining from last 20 to 25 minutes for this whole discussion, this is the summary I can able to provide. Collection of data from different types of the sources. We are converting the data to organizer format for the purpose of doing our analysis to take the decision. This is the summary I can able to give on top of whole example, whatever we are discussing from last 25 minutes onwards. Now, this whole summary, just we can able to call it as nothing but this is our data warehousing process. Whatever the summary I'm giving here, or whatever the process I'm explaining here, or whatever the definition I'm giving here, this whole definition simply we can able to call it as nothing but our data warehousing, or we can able to call it as a data warehousing process. Indirectly, we can able to say what is data warehouse is nothing but in the data warehousing process, you are going to collect the data from different types of the sources. Then we are converting the data to organizer format for the purpose of doing our analysis to take the decision. That whole process we can able to call it as nothing but our data warehousing process. Indirectly, by using this whole example, you need to understand what is data, you need to understand what is information, you need to understand what is data warehouse. Okay, at any point of time, don't try to by heart anything here. Try to understand the example. By using examples, easily you can able to understand what is data, what is information, and also you can able to understand what is our data warehousing process. Now, one more question here. Try to give the answer. In above data warehousing process, what all are the operations we are performing? Again, any guesses? This is the data warehousing process I am talking, but in this data warehousing process, what all are the operations we are performing? First one I can able to say collection of the data. Will you agree or not? See here, in this data warehousing process, what is the step one? Collection of the data, or if you want, you can able to call extraction of the data. Or simply we can able to say E for extraction, or we can able to call collection of the data. After that, next step is nothing but we are converting the data from unorganized format to the organized format. That operation we can able to call it as a transformation of the data, or simply we can able to call it as a T for transformation. Step one, collection of the data. Then we are converting the data. That conversion we can able to call it as a transformation. After that, final operation is nothing but we are loading the data. That operation we can able to call it as a L for loading. Indirectly we can able to say in this data warehousing process, you are going to perform extraction, transformation, and loading operation. ETL operations we are going to perform as part of our data warehousing process. Now my next question, how we are going to perform this ETL operations? That is the next thing we need to understand, right? So far we are discussing what is the collection, what is the conversion, what is the loading. Now we need to understand how we can able to perform this ETL operations in the real-time projects. For the purpose of doing this operation, we are having multiple options. Option one, I can able to say by using ETL tools, we can able to perform our ETL operation. In the market, we are having different ETL tools like Informatica, Data Stage, Ab Initio, SSIS, like that. We are having multiple ETL tools in the market. By using those ETL tools, you can able to perform the ETL operations by depending on our requirement. In the same manner, option two is nothing but we are having Hadoop stack. So in the market, we are having the Hadoop framework. With the help of the Hadoop framework also, you can able to perform the ETL operations by depending on our requirement. But coming to here, for these ETL tools, we need to take the license. But coming to Hadoop stack, it's a kind of a open source. Just we have to download and we can able to use the Hadoop by depending on our requirement. So indirectly by using the Hadoop stack also, we can able to perform our ETL operations by depending on our requirement. Otherwise, with the help of the ETL tools, we can able to perform our operations by depending on our requirement. In the same way, nowadays we are having the option 3, which is nothing but by using our cloud stack. With the help of the cloud stack also, you can able to perform our ETL operations by depending on our requirement. Now indirectly, for the purpose of doing our ETL operations, you are having 3 different options, either by using ETL tools or by using Hadoop stack or by using the cloud stack. You can able to perform your ETL operations by depending on your requirement. But see here, as a developer, if you are going to use the ETL tools, those kind of people indirectly we can able to call it as ETL developers. For example, if you are going to use the Hadoop stack, those kind of people generally we are calling it as nothing but data engineers. If you are going to use the Hadoop stack for the purpose of doing our ETL operation, such kind of people actually we can able to call it as a data engineers. For example, if you are going to use the cloud stack for the purpose of doing our ETL operations, such kind of people actually we can able to call it as a cloud data engineers. Okay, this is the way just you can able to understand different naming conventions and the real-time projects. ETL